I answered the phone and I heard my son say, Mama, please, I need you. And they shot him.
Emotions still raw, and the pain still very real, as Monique Ross recalls the moment she learned her brother Craig Brewer had been shot and killed inside a Gainesville Waffle House.
That was like the worst call that you could ever receive, to hear your child, in a eating place with his uncle, and then to be shot like that.
Rashida Johnson says her cousin was paying for other people's food moments before he was shot right in front of her.
When he shot him, I instantly tried to stop the bleeding. That's all I was really focusing on, was trying to stop the bleeding. Maybe I could save him, maybe I could help him. But it wasn't really nothing I could do.
Police say it started when 25-year-old Ezekiel Hicks and Brewer got into a fight inside the restaurant. Hicks walked outside, but deputies say he came back, this time with a gun, and shot Brewer in the head. Johnson says she still doesn't know why Hicks was so angry. She says Brewer was just helping others.
And him being nice ended like this. This should have never happened.
Hicks is now being held without bond on a charge of first-degree murder. Brewer's family says they want Craig to be remembered for the good he did for others.
If you just ask anybody about him, they'll tell you the same thing. He was just a good person, a loving person. He was a helper. He was a friend. He was a brother. He was a father.
And they hope his memory will live on forever.
We ain't gonna let his memory die, though. Never.
In Gainesville, Darrenisa Jefferson, CBS, for you.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Before I get to this very tragic and disturbing case out of Gainesville, Florida, I just want to share a few updates with you guys. First of all, for those of you who didn't catch my announcement both on my last video about a sad day to be a black man and my community post, I am going to be hosting a live stream on Monday, which is tax day, aka IRS day, April 15th, 2019, at or around 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. That is going to be directly concerning this issue relating to all of this black male simping among black men who call themselves MGTOWs and RedPill brothers. And furthermore, these black males that are going on to the live streams of known feminists, swirlers, and black male haters. If you haven't already, make sure that you're signed up to me over here on my alternative channel. As you can see, I just clicked the link in that community post and it opens up. I have the actual date and time of the live stream set up. As you see, it says it goes live in 3 days, April 15th, 6 p.m. Again, that's going to be Central Standard Time. And the name of the live stream is going to be entitled MGTOWs Colluding with Black Feminists, How the YT Black Manosphere Has Been Compromised. Now, if all else goes well, I should be having a very special guest on that live stream, a powerhouse here in the black sector of YouTube, Kid Organic, aka Organic the Illionaire. He agreed to join me on that live stream on April 15th. So yeah, we're really gonna get down to the meat of this issue, and we're gonna discuss, what's been going on, why it's going on, what it means for black men inside of the so-called manosphere, and how we, as true red pillars, true Marlboro men, as I've hashtagged it, move forward and separate ourselves from these fraudulent Negroes that claim to be like us but are not. Also, for those of you who haven't yet signed up to me on patreon.com, just to let you guys know, and also most importantly for those of you who are my paying patron members, to let you know I have 2 major audio blogs coming down the pipe. One is going to be concerning black women and blonde weaves. I'm going to be analyzing that and the low self-esteem and insecurity mentality behind that. And in addition, I'm also going to be talking about a very funny topic, which I've actually addressed before, but I'm going to go directly in detail about it. Women who think they are dime pieces and why they keep losing in the dating game. So those are two very interesting audio blogs I'm going to be writing and posting soon within the next week or so. I just want to get this live stream out of the way, and then I'm going to get right to work on that. So if you haven't signed up, you can sign up for just $7 a month and gain access to exclusive content. Being a Brian Blogs Corner Club member over on patreon.com/Brian Too Bad TV Solange. Okay. Now back to this very disturbing case out of Gainesville, Florida. It seems like there's a lot of bad things over the course of the last 5 years that have come out of Florida. It's definitely not a place that I would move or visit anytime soon as a black man, because it's just, maybe it's just the sensationalist headlines, but it is a bad place to be a black man. So apparently there was this brother that called himself trying to do a good deed by paying for people's meals at this Waffle House restaurant. And I don't know what it is with niggas and Waffle House. I think it's just a congregating place for people that are looking for trouble, like Walmart, but not, or the shopping mall, but it's just never a good look when you get a bunch of Negroes together in a Waffle House and it's, you know, too many of them, and it's, you know, it's just never a good look. But this brother was there with some of his family members, and he decided to start handing out $20 bills to people that were complete strangers near the front counter where I guess the waitresses serve people on the counter instead of, you know, the sit-in tables. And apparently he got into an altercation with another black male who was obviously a beta male savage. And unfortunately, that argument and confrontation tragically escalated into a deadly encounter when that man went to his car, retrieved a 9mm handgun, came back and shot this brother that was trying to do a good deed in the head. Now, aside from the fact that this only solidifies what I say about why you can't do anything for niggas and why you need to avoid niggas at all costs, you know, it also solidifies what I say about, you know, this whole people making a big deal about what happened to Nipsey Hussle. And it is tragic what happened to that young brother. Even though he lived a street life, he was trying to turn his life around and do good deeds in his community, and we see what happened. But the point that I was going to make was that shit like this happens, you know, black on black crime all the time. It happens all the time. You know, and while Nipsey Hussle and his good deeds and who he was as a man and a figure in his community will be remembered for a long time, what this brother did in Gainesville, Florida, and the sacrifice of him having to pay for his life will likely not, outside of his immediate family members. So let me just read you a brief summary of what, excuse me, what actually went down. And then I'm going to go ahead and analyze this for you guys, because it turns out that there's more to the story than is actually meeting the pavement, so to speak. So scrolling down here, it says, a good Samaritan was killed while handing out $20 bills for meals in a restaurant, police said. Craig Brewer, age 41, was shot in the head during a fight at a Waffle House in Gainesville, according to a statement from the Alachua County Sheriff's Office. Police were called to the scene and arrested the 25-year-old suspected shooter, Ezekiel Hicks. Witnesses told the officers that Brewer was picking up customers' tabs and handing out $20 bills before getting into an argument with a female acquaintance of Hicks, reported NBC News. It said that the woman got angry because Brewer had not paid for her meal. I'm just gonna save my commentary until the end of this. So this is the beta male savage that killed Craig, what was his name? Craig Brewer. He's sitting in jail right now on a first-degree murder charge. Says Ezekiel Hicks is currently being held without bail on charges of first-degree premeditated murder and carrying an unlicensed firearm. Says during the fight, Hicks left the restaurant to retrieve a 9mm Glock pistol, according to the sheriff's office. Officials said security cameras at the restaurant captured the altercation between the two. The fight, which was reported to have lasted only a few seconds, ended with Hicks firing multiple shots towards Brewer's head, killing him on the scene, the statement read. Deputies arrested Hicks at the parking lot and found a 9mm handgun at the scene, it is reported. Now, if we scroll down here, we will see a number of pictures indicating what happened. Starting with this one, you see the man in the green shirt. That's Hicks, the one that was being the Captain Save-A-Ho for this female that had no business saying anything to this other man that was trying to do a good deed about who he was generous with his own money. Okay, it's kind of equivalent to these dumb ass Negroes that come on my videos complaining about how long it takes me to get to the point when they're watching the shit for free and not paying me. But that's a subject for another video. You see the man in the white shirt behind the other one with the white shirt with the art on the back. They're facing off with each other. Okay, and then we scroll. We see they get in a physical altercation, a pushing and shoving match at the very least, where this Hicks Negro is trying to attack this black dude, and you see what appears to be a woman directly behind him trying to grab him, meaning Craig Brewer, and pull him back from the melee. Okay, and then reading further on, it says, oh wait, scrolling up here. At the very top, they have where Hicks left the restaurant and then came back. And you see the brother off to the right next to the woman that was grabbing him, that apparently he had came to the Waffle House with. And now they have a circle around Hicks's left hand, I believe. And he's coming back in the restaurant passing another man, and he has a gun. Within seconds of this, he opens fire and he shoots and kills Craig Brewer, the man who was trying to do the good deed, giving people, paying for people's meals. Now, scrolling down here at the very end, below these pictorials, these screenshots of the surveillance camera, says Lieutenant Brett Rodenheiser told ABC News on Monday they feel like they were so close, just far enough away to where they could not change the outcome. This incident went from a verbal altercation to a homicide in minutes, if not seconds. Investigators are looking to see if the victim may have had any prior issue with the suspect that led to the argument. Hicks is currently being held without bail on charges of first-degree murder, first-degree premeditated murder, and carrying an unlicensed firearm, stated the Alachua County Jail records. Pat Warner, spokesman at the Waffle House Inc., said in a statement, "We are saddened by this tragic incident, and right now our first thoughts are with the victim's family during this most difficult time." Now, right here, you see a picture of this brother who appeared to be a very good father with his children, his baby and his toddler, his infant and his toddler. It apparently, from what it looks like this guy, he came up against a self-entitled, self-absorbed, narcissistic, delusional, ratchet black female who thought that she was entitled to something simply because he was giving out free things to other people. And I've actually encountered a female like this once when I worked security at a craft plant. I was walking through a hallway on my lunch break, and this older, fugly, hag-looking chick, she was passing me, and I think she worked for the janitorial service of the place, cleaning toilets. And I had never met this woman before. I had never talked with her before. I wasn't even looking at her. And She walked halfway past me, and then she yelled, "Oh, so you're not gonna say nothing?" And it was just me and her in the hallway. And I turned around, I looked, I didn't say anything to her. She was right, I wasn't gonna say anything. I looked at her, and it kind of caught me off guard at first. And when I looked at her, she said, yeah, nothing to say, huh?" And I'm thinking, what the hell is this bimbo talking about? I don't know you. I don't have to say anything to you. And turns out I walked away laughing, and she murmured something under her breath. And I spoke with some people in the lunchroom a little later about it, and they told me that she always does that when she's going past certain men, and that she seems to think that people who don't say hi to her or acknowledge her in the hallway are rude. And I find it interesting because a black female, no matter what her age, if she's not interested in talking or looking at you, she has the right to do that. But some of them feel like you as a black man don't have the right to do that. Now, y'all know what I think about these bimbos, so I could honestly give a fuck less what they think, which is why I didn't say anything to this trick. But that's just to emphasize how mentally, awkward a lot of these females are. And so this female, she felt butthurt because this guy, Craig Brewer, was giving out money to everybody but her raggedy behind. Okay. So she wanted to start an argument with him about it. And again, for those of you who haven't been to the Waffle House, I went to the Waffle House once when I was visiting Indianapolis. And for whatever reason, it just attracts the wrong crowd, like Walmart, like magnets. I don't know if they accept, link card in there or what. But, it's like, those certain gas stations in your neighborhood where you see a certain, element of black people that are bad news, and white trash as well. It seems where you don't see that at other gas stations. It seems like certain restaurants and stores just attract that type of crowd. So I would recommend, if you're a good thinking black man, to just avoid the Waffle House altogether. I put it on my shit list a couple of months ago, actually. But the first mistake, unfortunately, that this brother made was trying to do something for niggas around other niggas. The second mistake he made was going back and forth with, one of these, delusional ass females that think that they're owed something just because they have a pussy between the legs. Okay. The third mistake he made was allowing her Captain Savaho to confront him and control the narrative to the point where the situation escalated, and all of a sudden it turned into a deadly encounter. Now, it turns out upon doing research on this issue, I wasn't able to locate any social media of the black female in question, as she was not listed. But I was able to find Craig Brewer's Facebook, and I found something quite interesting about this brother. Not only was he a man who obviously loved his kids and a good Samaritan, he also had a red pill mindset and was a MGTOW. Now, as you know, to some extent, this is not surprising because a lot of black men are waking up to the wicked ways of, these feminist-minded, anti-masculinist females that live to make a man's life a living hell. So when I actually went on his page and I started scrolling, I found, people paying tribute. But the first thing I came across was this, surprisingly. It says, and Craig Brewer, he posted this late last year, just want to announce that I'm officially celibate. Celibate from paying your bills, buying your drinks, giving you money, giving you rides, giving you etc., etc. And when you scroll here, you see that it's mostly black women that are responding to his post. What he's basically saying is he's done putting up with the bullshit and simping for these hoes, and being a Captain Save-A-Ho and, basically doling out his resources to these females. Okay? Now, upon further scrolling, you see pictures of his beautiful children there. This is something he posted midway through last year. Says, and I think he meant shout, not shout out, but it says, shout out to all the females that overlooked me and now have ugly kids and deadbeat baby daddies. And you see this has 32 comments and 10 shares. And when you scroll here, you see it's mostly black females responding. They act like they're not bothered by what he said, but clearly they're just fronting, because if it didn't bother them, he wouldn't have got any responses. It's almost all black females responding to this. I see one, maybe two black males, and they're putting up the smiley or laughing face emojis, but you can tell they're salty, which is why they're responding the way they are. Then I keep scrolling here, and there's one more thing interesting. You see him, obviously he loved his children very much, which, this picture and pictures like it really negates that false claim from, a lot of these man-hating females that claim that black men want to abandon their children. The fact is, as I said in that live stream a couple of weeks ago, a lot of these females are intentionally keeping black men's children away from them, to try to control the man, to try to hurt the man, the same way they do in so many other instances, trying to manipulate a man to be as emotionally train wrecked as they are. But we scroll here, and there was one more post right here where he says, you can't hurt a nigga who don't care about you. This was listed back in August of 2016. Ironically, it was the 15-year anniversary of when Aaliyah died in that plane crash, ironically. And you see, of course, it's another black female responding, trying to pretend like she's agreeing with him. But we've seen from prior experience that these females, they may claim to agree, but really they're burning up on the inside when you say things like this. So when you look at this brother's social media, especially his first post that comes up for people who aren't friended to him, that says, just want to announce that I'm officially celibate from paying your bills, buying your drinks, giving you money, giving you rides, giving you etc. It not only shows us where his mind was at as a black man going on over the course of at least the last 3 years, but it also better explains probably why he didn't buy anything for that whore that got him killed, and why she got in her feelings about it, why he skipped over everybody at the counter but her, and she felt some type of way about it and felt like she had the right to tell him what to do with his money. Apparently, this brother had experienced something in his life where he went down that rabbit hole, like a lot of us here in the real black manosphere, and he saw these tricks for exactly what they were: the enemy of black men. Unfortunately, I'm very proud of this brother, and to know that the message here on YouTube and across social media is spreading to black men, and to know that, we're not alone, that men on other social media platforms are, saying the same things. They're thinking the same way. But unfortunately, and this goes kind of back to what I was saying about why no real MGTOW or Red Pill brother should ever find himself on any of these whores' live streams or Facebook pages or Instagram pages or nothing, arguing with them, even if you disagree with them. Avoid them at all fucking costs. Because just like that Taz goofball that was on Nyla Said's live stream, if you don't avoid them at all costs, unfortunately, what you're going to run up against is you're going to run up against the black male who is the polar opposite of yourself. A male who never grew up to be a man. Yeah, let me get the right optics here. A male who never grew up to be a man. A male who was raised and trained like a guardhouse dog, usually by his ratchet baby mama, to be a slave to mediocre pussy, a male who will kill, much less argue or fight with another male, like some rabid dog in the wild fighting for resources over this mediocre pussy, and will do anything and everything to try to impress pussy that doesn't really even give a shit about him. Now we have a good black brother that was trying to do something good, do a good deed, and I don't know what prompted it. It could have been, that he just received his paycheck from his job. It could have been that he just received his tax return. That's probably what it was. And he just wanted to, give back some of the, some of the generosity that had been given to him. And, he ended up like this, dead over a salty black female who thought she was owed something. He was a red pill brother that knew what the deal was with these hoes. He had woke up at least as far back as 3 years ago, but he didn't understand what Brother Logic and Common Sense, Aquazi, said. He didn't understand optics, okay? And the reality of it was that he had no business, just like Nipsey Hussle didn't, when he rose above all of that. Neither one of these brothers had any business around that lower level of Negro, because that lower level of Negro, no matter what you do, no matter how generous you are, no matter how nice and real you are. I mean, you see how they troll, my channel and try to flag shit down that they don't like. They're going to try to either bring you down to their level or they're going to try to destroy you. Your job is to not let them, okay? You can give back to what you call your community, but you can do it at a distance like Dr. Dre or Snoop Dogg does, okay? You see, they're not still in the hood. And that's why they're still alive and thriving and getting richer as the years go on. Okay. So, this is a very, very tragic case. My condolences go out to the Brewer family. This is one of the brothers on the battle lines that we need, a brother that doesn't back down, but he's still real to his community. But at the same time, he understood who his enemy truly was, but unfortunately, that proved to be his undoing, because again, there was one thing that he didn't understand, and that was that not every Negro is his brother. Just because he has disconnected himself from the Centrics, as I call it, does not mean that he's free to be the man that he wants to be, at least not around niggas. Okay. So let this be a painful lesson to the rest of you brothers, that you have to understand that these black males, like the ones that you see, like Taz and these other goofball fools here on YouTube, these aren't just guys on a computer screen or yelling through a microphone. Okay. A lot of these guys have been trained like junkyard dogs, okay, to protect the very nasty, mediocre pussy that we talk about, okay? And even an argument over a female mad because she didn't get free money to a man who was giving out, doing a good Samaritan thing and giving out money to pay for other people's meals that didn't involve her. That is enough to get you killed as a black man dealing with these ratchet bimbos and weave ratchet thought bots. Y'all have to understand, okay? The reason why I sound awkward in this commentary, I am doing everything in my power not to use the B word, okay, and other words that would make it easier to flag down this video on YouTube. So I'm skirting around that and finding other words for these hoes that make black men's life a living hell. Okay. And just one other thing, for anyone who wants to donate, first of all, this just proves what I say about how nobody cares about black men as a collective. If this dude was one of these hood rats that I or Tommy Sotomayor frequently make videos about, that's prettied up with the weave and the fake up on, and she got shot down in the streets or died in a drunken car accident, she'd have $500,000 in her GoFundMe page right now. for her family and her burial services. This brother, all his family is asking for is $5,000. And you see, it's been up now for 3 days, and he only has $1,350. That's barely a weekly paycheck. Okay, so anybody who wants to help donate and help this poor family that now has to bury their brother, their father, their uncle, please go to the link in the description box, and I'm gonna read it out for you guys as well. It's let's see here. It is GoFundMe. It says supporting the children of Craig Red Brewer. Again, I'm going to have the link down in the description box for anybody who wants to donate. Please help this family and help them reach the goal of $5,000, because it's point blank clear to me now that we have to support each other as black men, both in life, same as in death, because nobody else is on our side, even a lot of black men who look just like us. So thanks so much, guys, for listening to this, and talk to you later, guys.